The City Sounds. I'm your local musical shit show, and I'm super, super fucking excited about this show. I have been wanting to do this interview for about 4 years now. So please introduce yourselves, and we will get right into it.
I'll start at the top. I'm Jack. I'm the singer and guitar player in Black Absinthe.
Kyle Scarlett, bass player of Black Absinthe.
Wicked.
Fernando Villalobos, drums and vocals, Black Absinthe. Yeah, Fern for short.
Right on. Well, welcome, guys, and thank you so much for being here. This is super exciting.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to do this for a while, like I mentioned. The first time I saw you guys was the weekend the coalition closed.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lutharo, you guys, Ammo, Snake River Redemption. I don't know. It was 2 nights mashed into one for me. I don't even drink. It was me and Walter and unlimited party time. I was in town for the weekend, and it was one of the first nights that he and I partied together, and we started with you guys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was a fun.
A good friend of Walter there, and yeah, like even walking by that venue of every now and then now, like you walk by it and it's still nothing. They haven't done anything like with that space. Whoever bought it out or like whatever for that place to close. So I mean that I'm glad the first one you got to check was a real special night there. You know, as far as
it was
music, right?
Yeah, well, and so I started Sofa City 10 years ago, and the year that I got to see you guys was actually within the first 3 months of myself and my ex-husband splitting up. So it was kind of like a freedom rampage for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much the weekend that I started Sofa City actually being live at shows and stuff like that, because it was very restricted back then. So yeah, it was a wild weekend for me. It was one hell of a show. It had been a long time since I'd actually been able to do stuff like that. So
it's funny you having, thank you. It's funny you having been there at that time with a band like Lutharo that's been around for maybe not as long as us, but they've come a long way from making their way into Toronto at that time. Yep. And doing an incredible job. We happened to join forces just a couple of weeks ago to play with them, and that it honestly might have been the first time since Coalition. If there and very early on there were bills with the two of us, so that might have. And I couldn't even tell you what year would that have been. You're telling us, so is that 2016?
2019.
2019. Oh man, okay, well, I had that wrong. And then even the fact that at the time. Austin was our drummer and Fernando wasn't in the band yet, but yet in that period, Fernando played in Sledgehammer and us had a double album release party at Coalition. So there was all an interconnectivity at that point as well.
Yep. Yeah. And you guys in Lutharo, you mix so well on the same stage. Like you guys, when it comes to bills, you guys were a perfect fit for that evening. Definitely.
Good times.
And Snake River, Josh and I are good friends. Actually, he right after he played that show, he got kicked out, and they wouldn't let him go in to get his own gear. He had to negotiate with the bouncer to get back in to get his own guitar that night.
Oh, geez.
Well, I mean, that's Josh, right? That's Josh. So, and it was fucking freezing that night. It was freezing that night. I remember, I met one of my very close friends, still very close friends, in the mosh pit to you guys that night. She came up to me and she was like, "I'm out of town. You know where I can find, or I'm from out of town. You know where I can find any weed?" And I was like, "I'm from out of town and I got a pocket full." And we've been really close
everywhere.
So yeah, no, we've done probably 100 shows together since then.
Wow.
So yeah, she was from Edmonton, and me being from the Falls, neither of us are from there. And now she lives in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like it was that night that caused the domino effect of her moving out here. So
I I do like that. I like that people from out of town can often gravitate. I guess there's an openness to meeting each other. You never know if you're.
Well, I feel a very high level of comfort being weird in Toronto because we're all like that. You know, I feel that way about the Hamilton scene too. We're all a bunch of weirdos, and that's why we all fit so comfortably and so well together. You know, we all have our unique thing.
Hamilton is a different beast.
It's 100%. It is 100%. It is. But I feel like the opportunity to be yourself doesn't get wasted there. So, and I feel like that's a good thing for the music industry. How do you guys see it from your side, being musicians?
Well, I mean, Hamilton's changed a fair bit over the last 10 years. It's because a lot of people from Toronto have been moving to Hamilton, so I feel like it's becoming a lot more like Toronto than it used to be. But I mean, those are two of my favorite places to play just because the music's so well received in either one.
Oh, absolutely. They're both great music towns. Definitely. So when did you guys get together?
The original version, Jackie got the better memory than me. She probably remember, I don't know, more specifically the month and the year.
Yeah, I just know when I joined, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was all the way, maybe we could say from December 2010 or February 2011 is the real beginning. Having left another act and being roommates, Kyle and I. So that carried us through till before the pandemic, and we parted ways with our good friend Austin Henderson, and the opportunity arose just knowing through the grapevine that Fernando was not necessarily in between projects yet, but that connection through having played at least 2 album release parties, 1 show before his previous band, lots of local interaction brought us together in the right way.
Right on. That's awesome.
It was a pretty quick decision too, of like, well, I guess we're like auditioning with people of like it was, you know, we didn't really audition that many people. It was, you know, fairly early on of just like, oh, okay, of
nice.
Okay, nice, I mean, ready to go. We just, you know, wait to do it. Of, you know, that thing of being there every week, being there, putting whatever time in. Of like, it was just a match that, you know, since it's added on, as you know, worked great. That, you know, has led to a lot of stuff getting done. Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's nice when things flow well together in the timing you need it to. I always say the universe works in perfect timing, especially if we're paying attention. So
I don't know what Fern remembers about that time, like or the first jam or whatever. I don't really remember us reaching out, but it just happened.
Yeah,
I know you guys had a show in Montreal in December, I think, or January, and we started rehearsing in winter of 19, I think it was.
Right
winter
on.
of 19. But really, if it's an origin story, we're going with Orphaned. You know, in an alleyway, Joker shoots our parents. We grow up with this dark, you know, this shadow above us, and when we gain our powers, we terrorize the criminals of the underworld.
I love it.
And but Toronto's a big part of that. Even coming, you know, we all live in the city now. We were slightly peripheral to the city beforehand, and we would commute in very short distances, but. Keeping Toronto, the Big Smoke, Hogtown, as kind of the crux of our activity, and it's kept us alive all this time because even post-pandemic, there's just so much activity in the music scene. So a lot, I can't say how many, almost 2 decades for some of us of activity in the Toronto music scene. And that people keep coming here for that reason.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a magnetic music city for sure. I had a question for you guys and I lost it with that great answer. Oh, I know what I was. Sorry, I have ADHD, so 1 minute I'm like, I know what I'm going to ask you, and the next minute it's gone. So I don't balance well with that sometimes. But and this is definitely a question it's an older question. I ask it quite often. I don't have many repeat questions. but I get a lot of great answers out of it. What was COVID like for you guys? I mean, you guys obviously survived it and survived it well, right? You came out shining on the other side. But what was it like for you guys? Did it help you? Did it hinder you? Like,
little of both, I think. I mean, since we weren't playing shows, we had nothing to do but write music, but we also couldn't get together and rehearse very often because of all the closures. I think it was, it did good and bad for us, really. But like you said,
from the get-go at the time, I was working the service industry, so like jobs and whatever, like I was the first to go. I don't know, my fucking life kind of exploded a bit during the initial stages of that. I had to like move back to Burlington for a while, and like while things were going bad before people really knew what was actually going on with this disease. Right. And I mean, the first rounds of it were like so much more brutal than kind of the version that's going around now. So like, right. There was a good long period of like where just Jack and Fern were able to meet together of like for months and months. I wasn't able to meet up with them, right? But we kept at it, we hammered at it, as much as we could. And like I remember finally those first few practices back of like getting back onto it, and then eventually here's a show that we're playing like outside at the rock pile, and then they're moving it inside. People got to sit at the tables, and you got a spit guard in front of you while you're singing. You're just like, okay,
what was that like?
Right, but yeah, I know, definitely.
So what was I didn't do a lot of shows during COVID. I kind of went the other route and I stayed online because I had a very different opinion about COVID than everybody else did. So I did my part by continuing the interviews in my home and online. So I didn't do the early shows. I didn't go to, there was no masking for me. So I just stayed out of the venues completely. That was me being respectful because you weren't putting one on me. So for health reasons. Yeah. So, I just figured out of respect for the venues and my friends, it was easier that way. So I didn't get to see a lot of shows, behind the glass and with the spit guards and, masks and all that. So what was that like?
The spit guard one was very brief. That was
so much fun.
What'd you say?
So much fun. Oh, it was so great. Like, the best shows of our lives, right? So cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool to stand behind a piece of plastic that reflects your reflection in the bright light, so all you can see is your
wow.
That's awesome.
And having everyone forced to sit down. Yeah, that's great.
Well, here's the thing that I didn't really, and like maybe I'm an idiot and somebody needs to explain it to me like I'm 5. But we have this killer disease that's going to kill us all, right? So if this disease is going to kill us all, why aren't we living till the end instead of all hiding in our houses dying?
I think we'd rather die, I guess.
I just made no sense to me. That's why I said I thought about it differently. So I did my part by staying out of the venues because I'm loud and obnoxious sometimes.
It's pretty sweet getting a bunch of money for doing nothing, though. Yeah.
Pardon?
It was pretty sweet getting a bunch of money for doing nothing, though, for a few months. That was.
I'll give you that.
That's like when you need to be creating and writing songs and shit like that. So
yeah.
A little silver
lining, I guess. It definitely had its pros and its cons. While we were
it's
going
that or go to jail. Like if you want to focus on your art, just go to jail.
Right?
You can really focus.
At least it was warm in there, man. At least it's warm in there. 3 squares, right? So, but no, it was definitely a difficult time. And thinking the way I did and the way everybody else did, I didn't get to experience things like that. It was out of respect for myself and for everybody else because I love everybody that didn't think the way I did, and I appreciated that. So I just did what I had to do, and everybody did what they had to do. We all got through it.
The Toronto music community too, of like everyone bounced back and like really wanted to be back out there at shows again. Like once I guess government or regulation wise, like it was available to do again. Of like there's no kind of easing back into it. People were
Well, it was a difficult few years, and I think everybody just really wanted a hug. And the mosh pit was the best place to get it. I mean, like, I don't know. I find that I'm most comfortable when I'm at shows because everybody is vibrating on the same level I am. And I'm not.
In lieu of going to church, it's a great alternative.
Yeah.
So the first show we did play was outside at the Rock Pile. That's in Etobicoke, outside of Toronto. So when Neurotic Entertainment was organizing these shows, we were able to jump on something last minute, and that got us back on our feet. And it was weird, not less weird than playing behind glass, but that was, and this is just my personal anecdote with you saying the mosh pit is the big hug. That was the first time I'd hugged anybody, and I was like not really looking to hug anybody, but someone decided to, and I was like, whoa, that was a lot. Like just something at the time that had perspective.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contact pretty quickly.
That's awesome. Well, we need that. Our souls need that. Our hearts need hugs. And that's really cool that you guys got to be a part of the comeback scene. Because I can imagine it was quite a different world for a little while, and being able to, like you say, take that hug back into a sense of normality, I guess, or what our normal would be, being close to everybody, jumping around, sweating in the mosh pit, stuff like that. I mean, you guys really, realistically, you're a part of, music history during COVID, and that's pretty fucking cool. So, and Karina did an amazing job.
Once.
Pardon?
Hopefully it only happens once.
Yeah, I feel like we're all gonna live a little if there's a second go around. I feel like we're all gonna treat this a little bit differently next time.
We'll get to tell our grandkids we risked our lives for music, dude.
That's right.
Yeah.
Every time you stepped out there and played G, it was like fucking war zone.
Yeah. Well, back in my day when COVID was a thing. Fuck. I can't believe I just said that out loud.
That is our future, my friend. That is all we will have.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But you know what, though? Like,
we can do one more thing that's memorable, maybe.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You guys have quite the history. You have quite a few albums. I've seen you a few times, and every time is a spectacular show. You guys do a great job every time. And every show I've seen you at has been a full room.
Really?
Which is awesome.
It's good to know.
It's I think like we really do try and make a concerted effort when taking on shows or considering months ahead of like planning with a promoter of setting up those pieces as much as possible so that things aren't left to the last minute of organizing, getting someone to jump on, or obviously things happen or people get injuries or things like that, but like it is really working in tandem with promoters and the hard work that they all do that gets those places full. Of as much as you want to think it's people just showing up for us or whatever other band, of like there is a lot of work from the people that aren't on stage making those shows happen, right?
There's a lot of moving parts to pulling together shows, and I always say I'm not a promoter, and I've found my way into doing shows. Don't know how, but there's a lot of moving parts. It gets busy. It gets quick. There's, fast paced. There's a lot of things to do. And as much as the bands push, like I see you guys promoting your stuff and, moving your tickets and stuff like that when you do shows. Cause like I said, your rooms are full when I'm in them. So, the promoters, we do a lot of running around. I say I'm not a promoter. I put on shows. I try to stick to the interviews and stuff, but it is a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. The rush of promoting is a lot of fun, and we get to work with great bands like you guys. So.
I think is
there was a little static.
There was a little bit of a lag.
I guess I would just say of the things promoters do, I believe in hand to hand.
If
there's personal connections.
Yeah, you're choppy.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
World.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of leg work. Definitely a lot of leg work. You were a little bit choppy through that, but I don't know if the other guys heard you all the way through. I caught 90% of what you said.
The general gist of what he's saying of, Jack was out there postering for our show, upcoming show at Rockpile on Friday. Of like, he was doing the walking around in Kensington, putting the posters up of, we still believe in that that old school mentality of like, hey, if there are people walking around, of as much as you could ask a friend to a friend, I mean, you can do that. You can do whatever 1% you can add to whatever you're doing. That's there. As if it's 1, 1, 1, 1, and 5, things have a way of spitballing, rolling, right? So.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Not only that, I was out with, this is by coincidence, running into Ryan from Black Throne, Connor from Fuzz and Buzz. I will always see Karina has posted Sonic Boom, where I'll go. She's already hit that. And then you have, that's Neurotic, and Bone Crusher is always postering along College and Dundas to promote the gigs at the Hard Luck and at Sneaky D's. So I see their legwork as well, of these 4 major people that we'll work with.
Yep.
So the promotion is a love for these people.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a love all around, right? Like there's a lot of us that love what we do. We love what you guys do. We want to see what you guys do. You guys support the love that we have, so we get love from you. And it just, like you said earlier, it just snowballs into all of us doing the work to make sure that we have good, successful shows, and so that you guys have successful shows, and you don't go home empty-handed and stuff like that, and everybody's happy, and we get to do the things we love. That's what life is supposed to be about, is getting to do the things we love, right? You guys, you can hear your passion in your music and the love for what you guys do. When like the 3 of you, I'd like individual answers, but I'd like to know, what your backgrounds are, and then how the background of Black Absinthe came to be.
I'll hand it off to one of you guys.
Okay, I'll start. As far as my background goes, I think I'm very different from Jack and Fern in the respect that growing up, I didn't play any music or instruments or anything. Like, I only really started playing bass when I had moved downtown with Jack after I finished university. So I must have been, 24 at the time, around 24 at the time. And it was really only a few months of playing that, dicking around, that we had decided to form the band. So like all those years being in the band, of like, it has kind of been like my musical trial of, as I've gotten, reached certain points and certain peaks and going through different things, all through the evolution of this band. It's the only band I've ever been in. So I know these guys have been, and I'm teen whatever other projects, but it's my one and only. So, but absolutely love it. Just being able to get out there, scream, of like, whip hair around, just do crazy shit, of have people, cheering back at you, right? Of like, you're giving that to them, they're giving that to you. It's great. It's a reason to keep doing it, of so many years in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I basically just took lessons for about just under a year, and then the music store I was taking them at closed down, and I grew up in Markham, so we didn't have that many stores to choose from. So between that and everything else, I just kind of went self-taught from there, and then started joining different bands here and there. And because bands always need drummers, I moved around pretty quickly.
Right.
And like my first show was something ridiculous, like at the Opera House, like a little too much too soon, but whatever, right? It was. That's kind of what did it, right?
Yep. That's a sink or swim moment for sure.
It really was. I'd only been playing for like 2 years, and there's a shit ton of people there, so it was a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But ever since then, it's been close to 20 years, I think, that I've been on stage for, and it's been I've been in other bands before Black Absinthe, of course, and I don't even know how many, to be honest. I couldn't name them all, but either way, that's kind of my background, is just getting a head start with lessons, and then just kind of jumping in and kind of going from there, working my way up.
And how old were you when you started with your lessons?
I was 15 when I started taking lessons. So,
Right on.
So it's been about 24 years that I've been playing. Yeah.
Okay, so Rodrigo, sorry to cut you guys off. I just want to
What's up,
pop
Rodrigo?
in so that we know, so that we're in good timing with the comments.
Yeah.
I like to interact with everybody that pops in. And he says, do you remember the bathroom filled with toy sharks everywhere at the house in Kensington Market?
Oh
He's
my
talking
God.
about Augusta, isn't he? Jack?
He's talking about Tom. He's talking about
Tom.
Tom.
Yeah, the upstairs of Jack's
Yeah.
house. Where Jack and I used to live together on. Our upstairs roommate there of.
Because I remember running into Rodrigo.
Paintings of sharks.
He loves sharks. Tom loves sharks, and he has like a diagram of 5 great sharks: sand shark and tiger shark and great white. So obviously this is a multi-level floor party, and they got talking about sharks. I wish I knew the Latin name. And then one time we run into Rodrigo. He's selling patches at this sick market. And he goes, out of the blue, for us, say hi to your buddy Tom, who likes sharks. We're like, what? I didn't even know they had this like bond. So that hilarious. Of course, I remember that.
That's so funny.
The Tom Collard of great painter of check out that bad boy that.
Oh, that's sick.
Painter gave me that I still have yet to put up months later. But
yep, right on. That's awesome.
Great.
All right, Jack, we still need to hear about your history. I just wanted to make sure that we included that because that looked like it could have been important information that we needed to know.
It is a deep, dark secret of our past. That's good shit.
I love when people pop on and they're like, hey, guys, do you remember this? And the whole band is like, oh, my God. And right. I'm not the one who outs them or embarrasses them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been worse. And honestly, that's like, it's almost like another lifetime. If you're even talking 7 years ago, it's so awesome to have all those kind of memories. It's almost blended into a university style, just endless keg party.
That's awesome.
My background is French Irish. I started guitar at grade 7 level because a friend of mine was really into it. So I took lessons, and my good buddy Gregory was advanced from me, but would lead me through things, and we jammed together a lot. So that's where I really got into it. I took lessons in Toronto, and actually just reconnected with the teacher. His name was Kyle. Cool. And I just went to the music school and poked my head through the window. We had spoken, but he totally was like scared. Why is a man looking in at me? And then I waved and said it's me, and we reconnected. So then at that level, it was like learning Allman Brothers licks and stuff like that. So that was all throughout high school, I suppose. And I stopped probably sometime after that. But I joined a band downtown as a vocalist. So I moved downtown and joined the Rough Boys rock band for a couple of years before getting kicked out. And then the next day I spoke with Kyle about Black Absinthe. But playing guitar, I was happy to do the vocal thing at the time, and it was a great experience. And the first shows I ever played, and then maybe there was a cover band when I was in before that, playing Too Young to Fall in Love and Crazy Train, at a chicken deli or something. That was it until learning the ropes about how to book a gig. Like, I remember asking the first band, okay, cool, we have this rehearsal space, but like, how are we going to get shows? And them saying, oh, that's the easy part, respectively. I had no idea how to get shows. All I had done was an open mic. So that was the real learning curve. On top of how to play your instrument and handle the heat, you got to learn how to network and learn that at the beginning of Black Absinthe. Oh no, but you're asking just background musically. Playing, self-taught. After the lessons, self-taught in my room.
Killer. Right? Yep.
We live in a golden age with guitar tab programs and stuff like that. So, you can accelerate certain aspects. You don't need a teacher. You need motivation. You don't need to go buy a music stand. You need to actually learn what's on YouTube. So that's my philosophy around it. And a teacher's always good. Nobody. I would never say don't do a music teacher. I have vocal teachers as well. Vocally, I know it's a long answer. Sorry, everybody, but
no, this is what we want. This is why we're here.
When I did do children's choir, I did do musicals.
Cool.
But and then at the same place I did guitar lessons, there was a vocal teacher there. Opera. And it's tough. Vocals are not like guitar. Move your finger like this. Move your finger like that. You're getting in touch with things that they can't physically touch on your move on you. Yep. So you're communicating certain things like sing to a tennis ball that's right here. Like this is something that's supposed to change how you project. I don't know. I think I've had 3 vocal teachers over. I'm with one right now, Mika Barnes, and that's just to keep up with things and change things, and I'm feeling good about shows as they go rather than burning out your vocals every time.
Yep.
Because there's it sounds good when you're burning, but it hurts. Like if you're not, it hurts if you're not nailing it. So that's
and it's damaging in more than one way, right? Because you're damaging your body and your vocal cords, but you're also damaging your career, and you're also damaging how far you can get your band, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can go with your band. Speaking of other bands, Jordan Smith from Stuck in Neutral says hi, guys.
Oh, hello.
Yep. And Kevin Wortley, his stepson, is Colin Sterling from Thrasher's Paradise. He says what's up too.
Excellent. Glad to have you all here.
Very good.
So I love it when people pop in and we get to expand the conversation. Sometimes people ask questions. Sometimes they pop in and say hi. Sometimes they tell embarrassing stories. Mm-hmm. So that's why I always keep the comments on when we're doing live shows.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys have coming up? Because I know you guys have been busy. We Jack and I have been talking for about a month or two to try and get you guys in on. I mean, we've been sporadic, right? Because we've both been busy, but we've been trying to pull this together for a little while. You guys have been busy. What are you up to?
Yeah, we did about probably 2 weeks ago now. We shot a new music video that's in the works. So, I mean, the ending timing of that, cool. Not an end date yet, but it was in a really unique set. I won't give away too many details of it right now, but I know it had been a little while since we put out a video. We kind of had like sort of our staggered release when the album had come out back in the spring of like we had several videos come out with that. So this one of just a little new content like that from the bits we've seen, it's looked awesome. I mean, other than that, we got the Rock Pile show on Friday. Tomorrow, yeah. So, in less than 24 hours. So we did that, and then really going into the December of actually like a little bit of a break for us of relative, because like the last few months of like all since through the summer and the spring, it's really been constant of shows. So it's a good problem to have, and we're looking towards booking the spring, the upcoming summer, right? For whatever's next.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little too far in advance to announce any of that yet.
For sure. Mm-hmm. We'd love to have you guys out here.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chelsea Todd from Death Club is excited about a new music video. I love Chelsea. I love those guys.
I saw them at El Combo the other week.
I missed that show. I wanted to go so bad, but I had done, I think it was 3 or 4 shows previous to that, and I needed a fucking nap.
Well, it was a great show. First time I had been up in that room in the El Macombo. Like we did our CD release. I don't know the names of the rooms, but like the main floor one we had done. So I hadn't been up there. Of like beautiful, beautiful venue. I'm glad there are more like rock and metal shows being done there, because like it was a few years of like the place was open and running. It was just like I don't know, like I never heard metal shows.
Places had a weird history. They have a weird history. Beautiful
finally let lesson, and good.
So, and it's always really cool to get to see I want to say it's always really cool to see your friends' bands, but it's always really cool to see bands that are your friends, but bands that you respect and you watch work really hard get to play stages like that. Mm-hmm. Because I'm very fortunate where I get to see the behind the scenes blood, sweat, and tears that a lot of you guys put into these things, into your albums, into your shows, your releases, you know, and your lyrics, stuff like that, your writing. And as much as a lot of people get to party with the end result, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. And being able to say, yeah, I played at the Alamo. Yeah, I've played at the Opera House. Those are like trophies for soccer games. You know, I think playing venues like that are, you know, those are your trophies. So, I mean, I bowled for years. I got all kinds of shit trophies, but I got one really big one. And to me, that equals like, well, I got to play at you know, amphitheater. I played, you know, this place or the Elmo or
I think even just different cities and stuff you get to go to. Like we lived in Newfoundland. Was that 2 summers ago?
Lived there, loved it.
George Street and
yeah,
like a
rock house.
You know, like long kind of dream of mine of I don't know, just as a big fan of East Coast music. We're playing a metal show there, but like still, like,
and those Newfies know how to fucking party, man. Let me tell you,
we had a great time there. I mean, like that Newfoundland hospitality,
they can.
Like true through and through.
Yeah, my kids are half Newfies, and we lived there for a year. And what a like my front yard was the ocean, and my backyard was a 100-foot hill. It was amazing. Oh, Fuzzed and Buzz said almost opening for Maiden. What's that about?
They had the short story being of for whatever reason, I believe it was the Who that was opening for Iron Maiden that evening. For whatever reason, they couldn't do the show, and they had reached out to friends of ours that were a promoter of like if they could have anyone that DJ'd or could DJ. And I don't know. I think they threw our name into the ring, but I just like, you know, timing or thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
A big what if? I mean, you know.
But no, that's fucking.
I really don't know what to make of it.
Yeah,
it would have been.
No, that's hey. Listen, my 14-year-old's first toy was an Eddie doll, and she saw the first time she saw Iron Maiden was in my stomach. The second time she saw them, she was standing next to me, and she was 9 years old. It's funny. Everybody has a good Maiden story, you know.
Great.
So that's really fucking cool. Chelsea Todd said she loves you guys.
Oh, love you back.
I love you too, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I love Death Club. They're such wonderful humans. Kyla McCall says hi. She was the guest I had on last week. She is she's a singer and songwriter who does lyrics and poetry, but she also puts together books about guitar players and bass players. So
like,
yeah,
books or like
pardon?
Like photography books or
yeah, she does photography. Hey Matt, what's going on? She does photography. She does singing, songwriting. She's an ex-pro wrestler. She does all kinds of stuff. But yeah, she writes. She does writing and photography for guitar players, and then she puts her own lyrics in the books and does little bits of info on the guitar players. She has a very unique spin to the way she does her coffee table books. So mine is all bios about the full band, and then a little bit individual, like the individuals in the band, where she takes the guitar players and she takes her ideas of them, and that's how she writes her little bios on them, and then all the lyrics and the poetry that's in the book is hers, and the photography. So it's pretty cool.
I think the lore of guitar players or your favorite musicians is kind of, for me, the trophy that you're talking about for a venue. Like, respect for other musicians or musicians you respect seeing you or in some way acknowledging you, I think
that's cool.
The ultimate trophy is cool. If I were to really gauge what is success, it's to hear something of admiration or even just respect from someone I respect.
Yeah, that's cool.
In that sense, I understand still the obsession with your heroes, your musical heroes.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I've been writing since I was 6 years old. I've been writing since I was a little kid. And I always wanted to write and do the things that I loved. And let's face it, everything's digital and it's difficult to get people to put a book in their hands now, right? Mm-hmm. But you know, I love music. I love musicians. You know, musicians are always more than willing to give me their information and their history. And who doesn't love being in a book? Mm-hmm. Right. And being able to pull all those things together and put Sofa City on a table for somebody is wonderful. It's a lot of fun. And I get to do what I love every single day. JC Sandoval says the Unholy Trio, which I agree with. I think that's
you would know
for you guys. And Keith Iveston, who I love. I'm so happy to see you, Keith, and it was wonderful to see you at Black Dahlia Murder and Dying Fetus, which I have my hoodie on today.
There we go.
Cool. So, and Keith, please send me the shot you took of the duck on the stage with Black Dahlia Murder. And before they came on, I threw a whole bunch of little tiny resin ducks all over the Phoenix, and Keith took a few pictures of them on the stage. So I'm hoping to see them. Matt says, Matt, I know you don't know how to read. That's why I put pictures in my books.
Good to hear from you, Matt. I think last time I was Cornwall, remember in Tia?
Yeah.
The end of that gig, if I got out of like the green room and there's this huge fight going on, and like With Arms Wide Open by Creed is playing on like the jukebox in the background. I'm like, this is perfect fighting music. I was stoked. I don't know. I was I went from our last run up to Quebec. That was a summer.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Who doesn't need Creed in their life? Come on now.
I was stoked. Hey, I brought my brother tickets. We went to go see it in Toronto like the week later. I'm like, yeah,
that's cool.
Sent that to him right away.
That's fucking cool. It is. That's awesome. So yeah, no, I'm so glad everybody's popped into this interview tonight. It's so nice to see everybody. And I'm like, again, I thank you so much for coming on, guys. I'm so glad we got to. I know that Jacket, when did we talk about this? This was close to a year ago. I ran into you at the Casbah.
We were chatting outside of the Casbah, and I had stopped by a friend to take a guitar lesson, and then I decided I was close enough to Hamilton to go to Cryophilic. I think it was Karina Neurotic Entertainment show.
Yes, it was.
And so, yeah, of course, I have a friend or two there, but I went alone, and I've often found that's beneficial to me. I've met a lot of connections through just doing that, and it's awkward, right? Mm-hmm. Like I just kind of stood near you, I'm sure, and nodded along until I could make some conversation, and because I had nothing better to do, and I was okay with staring like this, just.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
But yeah, just us chatting. I guess I had. Maybe it was Sun. Did you interview Sun Below?
Yes, I did. Right.
So I guess I remembered that, but certainly not the reason I spoke with you. But that was it. If that was a year ago, that's crazy.
Yep.
But it was all probably in hopes of promoting the album, which dropped in March, On Earth or in Hell. And no matter what, I'm very happy that it all worked out at this point because
me too.
There's still lots to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I say, the universe always works in perfect timing. And it almost didn't because I know that you guys were looking to do the 7th. And I booked the 7th about an hour before you had messaged me to see if the week previous was open. So that timing didn't work out, but it's only because everybody was able to come tonight and everybody was able to join through chat. And it's nice and quiet in my house. No dogs barking, no kids fighting, no nothing. And that's rare. Sometimes it's chaos here. So
it's perfect.
I appreciate you using your quiet time on us then.
Yeah, no, and it's Thursdays are very busy for me because I work at the farm. I thankfully in the winter don't have anything to do at my farm. The garlic is growing and that's what matters. So I basically just concentrate on Sofa City Sounds. But
this is the perfect. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is the perfect timing, and it is the calm before the storm as well. Because tomorrow we're going to be descending on the rock pile, and we had our rehearsal last night to prep up and get a party going. I mean, the difference of venues that you book, you can create a different kind of party, and people coming out, especially knowing the way that the headliner that I've seen Corrosive throw down so hard at the rock pile, the I've seen them go, and the crazy they do their best there, and the mosh pits that occur.
I know, are sick.
They're kind of legendary under the Corrosive banner at the Rock Pile. Yeah. Definitely, I'd never seen anything like it in Toronto for a young band.
Yeah,
came out of nowhere.
I know. I know. I love Corrosive. They were in my last book. I bugged them until they gave me their info, and it was a few times. Like there was a few times where I was like, "Hey, Rad, I need your info," and he was like, "As soon as I get home, I'll get it to you." 2 days later, I'd be like, "Hey, Rad, that info. I'll get it to you as soon as I'm done. Hey, Rad, that info," and I did not stop until I got it, and I was really, really happy. Oh, Keith, can you come pick me up in the Falls? Because unfortunately, my ride fell through. I'm sure you know by now. I was supposed to be there tomorrow night, but I had a falling out with a partner, and unfortunately, my car is in the shitter. So I sadly will not be able to be there tonight, unless somebody.
So if anyone watching live is available.
Yeah, anybody from the Falls that wants to go out, I'll pay for the ticket and the gas. Just drive me, please. Please.
That is a deal you won't find anybody else, and only for this interview span can you buy this offer.
That's right. That's right. I will buy the tickets to get in, and I will pay for gas there and back. And I got about 4 ounces in the kitchen, so we won't be shy on green. I promise. I know. I can't wait, man.
Corrosive.
I really want to go to that fucking show.
Zero tolerance.
Just rub it in.
And just rub it in the dirt a little bit. Rub the dirt in the wound a little bit more.
Okay.
Well, you know what though? Matt's probably not going to. He's probably going to bum like I am, so we can bum together, I guess.
It's kind of
I want to be there so bad. If somebody from the Falls is going out, or if somebody wants to come and get me, I have zero issue paying the gas. I will pay for your ticket in. If your ticket's already paid for, I'll pay for food. Yeah, see, Matt, we're just fucking bumming together. We're a bunch of losers not going tomorrow night. So, but
it happens. And honestly, with so much stuff going on, you can't go crazy with yourself for missing these kinds of things, because there's something awesome happening at all times, but this is going to be epic. So I do feel
I know you just, and it's like, it's true. It is definitely going to be one hell of a show. JC says, will William be there eating atrocious stuff? Eating some disturbing combination.
If Will is there, then probably.
There's really no maybe about it.
Yeah, no, he's always eating something weird. He is one of my favorite people, though. I do love that man very much. We're very lucky to have the family in the metal industry we do have.
Okay, so back to Maiden stories. He wasn't eating when we ran into him in the Maiden pit, but that was our touchstone in the Maiden pit. But a Maiden story for you guys, and I'll find the video here. We all congregated after 3/4 of the set, and when Maiden was playing kind of a newer slow song, we just beat right through diagonally. Everyone's like in a trance, and oh, what the fuck? We look up and we're 20 feet from stardom. So Kyle finds us, and we're having a great time. But they're we eventually get pushed back behind someone. You're eventually stuck behind a Punisher. Like if someone's not in the vibe. Like if, in my opinion, if you're not singing "Fear of the Dark" like you're a Colombian or a Brazilian, you're not doing it right. If you're not jumping like this, like what do you think would be happening in Bogota if they were there? Like you think they'd be fucking standing there like Canadians being like, I want to hear it, like fucking listen to the recording. You have to be jumping and yelling. So I get that it's a little obnoxious if it's during Stairway to Heaven, but like it's not. So we're having a great time, and this guy in front of us is kind of in a hyperdrive of this, where he is only windmilling, and Kyle is like gonna get into it with people like, yes, this is sick, and then he's beside this guy and he gives him a very friendly yes, this is it, and the guy just looks at him like, what do you want? And so he won't, basically goes back to what he's doing. So I'm going to show you the video of the aftermath. He won't stop, and so the guy is just
oh, he's totally not vibing at all, eh?
So he's whipping this thing around. I'm like, all right, you want to what? I'm like, give me a little bit of that car wash. I'm like, the dude probably good at what? A good 20 seconds before he realized that we're all just like howling, laughing at him, and what the fuck I was doing. So
Kyle is like dripping wet with sweat, and this guy's just mopping him up. Actually, look at this guy. Look at this guy here. He's filming it. He's filming it as well. The guy's like, "Oh, let me get in on this." Yeah. This guy was so obnoxious, but it's great. Actually, he ended up catching a drum skin, so he's the super fan, not us.
That's fucking killer. That's cool. That's awesome. That's wicked. So, where on what I always date myself. You can always tell I'm over 40 when I ask this question. Where on the socials can we find you?
We love Instagram.
Yeah.
But I mean, here we are on Facebook, not by accident. I mean,
and YouTube.
Instagram's the main one. I think like Twitter, like we never really built or established a thing there. No real intention to there. TikTok, we don't have a presence on yet. YouTube, absolutely, is like, go check those out. You know,
okay.
hit that like and subscribe button if you know.
Yeah. I know. I'm one of those idiots.
Like I said, we've got that new one that's that'll be in the works of.
Yeah.
So those are.
I highly suggest TikTok. I've been on it for just about a year now, and it's a different world. I definitely don't interact on there. Like on my personal account, I don't interact with anybody I know. It's a different world. But on my music account, I've interviewed some real cool people through TikTok. I've met some really interesting people. Orion Reacts is one of the best channels they have right now. Somebody said that you guys are on
Christian Mingle.
Yeah,
that's JC Strikes Again.
How come we didn't know about the profiles before, boys? That's key information.
I take on kind of this Jesus complex, and the chicks go nuts. They're like so down for that. Kyle's more of like a Judas. He's more like the dark side of it. Okay. Fernando, I think, is kind of monk-like. I think, there's wisdom there. There's a hardiness, to his profile. So
right on. No politics, but we'll definitely insert some religion in there.
Yeah, that's fun.
I love it. None of us are drinking heavily, though, are we?
Not heavily.
Okay, so we can.
I don't know. So it's early in the evening. I got a few left on the go.
I'm heavy on the coffee. I unfortunately haven't had an alcoholic beverage in 16 years. Well, unfortunately for me, fortunate for everybody else.
Fair enough.
I tell you think I'm loud and obnoxious sober.
Of like doing it on one level or the other of that you can thoroughly enjoy shows. I think particularly metal shows of in whatever state, right? Of some people go in there strictly of smoking the herb of some people. Me. I mean, included, like they just get hammered drunk, and then there's other folks who want to really take in like the detail, like all the sounds and the whatever, right? Of
I with my ADHD,
so
I smoke as much pot as possible so that I don't get overstimulated and I actually get to enjoy the show. I did a lot of drinking. I was really good at it, and that's why I don't drink anymore. But I loved it. I loved going to a show, having a few drinks, letting loose, and really getting into it. And now
I do the car wash on your chest.
Other two.
That video.
So. All my shirts stay on now. So, but this. I hate to cut it, but we're coming up on an hour, and it's been one hell of an interview, and I really want to leave it at 10 out of 10 greatness. I do. I think this is one of the best interviews I've had in a long time. You guys are the second one back this year. I'm really grateful for that. I'm starting off very strong this year. I'd love to host you guys in the falls sometime in the new year, maybe in the spring. I'd love to bring you to this area. I have a few ideas for some markets and stuff. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, we'll certainly work something out. Definitely everybody that's listening, if you don't already listen to them, go, because you're missing out. If you get the opportunity to interact with them, these boys are wonderful. So definitely say hi when you can. Get their stuff, buy their stuff. We don't get to survive in this industry without support from our fans and from our friends. If you can spend $5,000 on a Taylor Swift ticket, you can spend $30 on one of our t-shirts or one of our books. I always feel like a jerk saying that, but at the same time, we all work very hard for this. And we don't have roadies doing our thing. We do all our music. We don't have writers. We don't have this. I'm a writer, but the bands that we work with, the people that work in this industry, we all work really fucking hard. And the best way to support us is buy the tickets. Go to the show tomorrow night. Buy my ticket, even though I can't be there. Buy their stuff, buy their merch. Go on to Bandcamp on Friday when it means something to the bands. Don't go on to Spotify. Buy their fucking CD, because paying for one CD, you're going to give that band more money than you ever would listening to their music on Spotify. It takes 1 million streams for them to get one or two CDs. What gives them. On that note, I absolutely am so grateful that I got to do this with you guys. Please tell me Jack's going to come back with a CD.
Thank you so much. I don't know. Maybe you got
a t-shirt. Yes, even better. Vinyl.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
The physical bit of that, of like, where we're putting these things together, we wanted vinyl, of like, we wanted that bit of like this physical thing, this piece of art that we, for years and years worked on, right? So it's.
Yep. I collect set lists. I've been collecting set lists for years. I've got about 200 or so of them.
Wow.
And
I
will eat a brick of cheese in the pit tomorrow. Oh man.
My God. They have to open the windows at the rock pile.
Don't do
the cheese grater.
They're walking inside my head. I feel bad for the people on the train on the way home.
It's just a big cheese.
Oh, William, I'm so glad you popped in, buddy. It's so nice to see you. It's been such a wonderful show. So many wonderful people have popped in. Swayze, what's going on, buddy? Oh yeah, I probably stole whatever set list you thought you were bringing home when we were at the same show, most likely. Oh, sardines and cheese. You guys enjoy William at your show tomorrow night.
Every time. He's up in the ante.
He is. He's always eating weird fucking shit. Courtney, I have to give a shout out to Courtney Evers, because all the filming that woman did when John Tard was doing all of the challenges with William, and some of the shit she had to sit and smell and like.
What were some of the it's like a Swedish, like kind of like fermented fish or something that was on one of them?
Surströmming or something.
Surströmming or something like that. Yeah.
It's like the stinkiest fucking fish in the world.
Yeah.
And she sat through the whole. She must have had a gas mask on, but she filmed that whole thing. So, what have we learned from that? That is a woman you do not fuck with in an alley, man. Like seriously.
Amanda, thank you for the time.
Absolutely.
Good to get her going.
Yep.
Thanks for talking about all our happenings.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna keep you guys for 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit the stop streaming as soon as I find it. And everybody that popped in, thank you.
Yeah,
I usually know who's on the show next week, but not happening this week. So have a good night, and we will see. Oh, next week I have a show at Dive Pub. We'll see you next week at Dive Pub. $15 at the door. Bye, guys.